Hi everybody, it's Jasmine. I just got a new camera and I'm feeling amazing. It's been, I don't know, let's see, it's been a year of me on estrogen and it's wonderful. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming through. I mean, look, breasts are amazing right now. My cheekbones have gotten thicker without surgery. My voice has been more feminine, which is a wonderful thing to have to deal with without a whole lot of surgery to do that. I'm going to go for my breast augmentation and facial feminization augmentation soon. That's going to be coming up this month, which is great. On September 26th will be the day I have my, I do not know how to say this, surgery, which is basically having your testicles removed. Now, that is going to be the surgery I have, and that is going to be so amazing to just start off with these procedures and just get it over with. So, next, I'll be doing just basically going through the breast augmentation, feminization surgeries, and I'm going to be videoing them and putting them on YouTube. Now, what I wanted to talk about is I just recently moved. I moved to the south side of Chicago, which is on the border of the south side, which is where it's supposed to be the dangerous side, but I'm on the border. I'm like right by the lake, 9 minutes away from the lake. So it's a lot calmer and more accepting. I live in a building that's very LGBT accepting, which is wonderful and very helpful. So now I am basically just dealing with, trying to survive, get going. Right now I was homeless for 10 years. I'm 27 now, and I was 17 when my mom literally just threw me out when I graduated from high school. She sent me away to boarding school when I was 15. Trust me, I've done some bad things, which I can see why she did it. But before then, we weren't even that close to begin with. I mean, when I was younger, when I was quote unquote boy, we were kind of close. It was like a regular, I guess, son and mother relationship. But, growing up being a hermaphrodite, it's not easy trying to juggle both identities, being half female and half male. So just growing up, it was a struggle. Now, I also had relationships at that time, like when I was 6. I grew up and I fell in love for the first time, which isn't quote unquote a relationship or love. I would say is basically I fell for one of my kid friends I was growing up with, and we kind of over time grew up and were dating for a little bit. My mom had a really hard time dealing with that. She basically took all her effort into making sure that it wouldn't happen. Like, if we were making out in his room, which is upstairs on the other side of the house, she would go out of her way to go find us wherever we were making out or getting close to intimacy. Now, it's been difficult kind of growing up that way because when I was in high school, I was basically the gay boy that was considered the if you go near me, I'm going to turn you gay person, but I was the one with the feminine body, the feminine physique, the hair, no facial hair, big eyelashes, blah, 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 without using falsies, and feminine voice. So guys flocked towards me, even though I kind of kept to myself because I'm kind of the bookworm. And most of the time I just, keep to myself and read novels. Like at the time I was reading the Harry Potter series and basically finishing that because that's when the Deathly Hallows, the first novel, had come out. And, it was one novel, but for me it's like 2 parts in the same book. So I was doing that, and that's when I fell in love with my, I would say, first boyfriend, because I dated a few people while I was in the boarding school, but this one actually went out of his way, no matter how many times I pushed him away, on talking to me. Like, the moment he came in, I saw him way back when I was like in a meeting with one of the counselors, and I was, just talking to her, and we were having a little conversation about, oh, how you doing today? What's going on? How you doing with this living situation? And I would tell her the same thing, but in the distance, she's facing this way. I'm facing towards her, and the school building is on the other side. Now, I'm looking over there, and I see boys in orange jumpsuits. Now, I'm looking at them, and I'm basically just saying, okay. And then I saw him from a distance. Now, let's just say I just got my glasses, so I'm just starting to really see. And, wait, hold on. Let me take these off so you guys can really see me. And so basically I see him in the distance, and I'm just looking at him. And I'm just like, oh, wow. Now, he's attractive. Now, that was, like, captivating for me, because it was kind of like that, oh, who's that? Who's there? What's that? Type thing. And I was taken away by it, because it was something I wasn't used to seeing. Now, when I get in there, I'm reading my Deathly Hallows book, still trying to finish that, which I've only had it for 3 days, so I was almost done. And I was, keeping to myself, doing my thing, when I saw him walk in, which, had me look over my glasses, kind of like, hold on, let me get my glasses, and I'll show you this. It was kind of like this. Oh. Go back to my book, And basically I was just trying to, like, get back into my zone, because I didn't want to go outside my comfort zone, because it kept getting me in trouble and keep getting people to stay away from me, and pretty much made me lonely. And when it was easier, it was safer for me to be in books, because books never hurt me. Books never made me feel insecure. Books didn't make me feel like an outsider. And now, so going on with that, I was just intrigued when he came and sat down after one of the boys said, ooh, stay away from that. It'll turn you gay. Yeah, you don't want to talk to that person. Just talk to us, we're over here. And he said, no, thank you. Fuck you. I'd rather go over here. And literally we talked, played board games, and literally fell in love, like right then and there. So it was basically, after that first day, they put us on band. Now, band in that private school was basically like, let's just say, you're like on, like, it's like high alert, where any romantic actions is basically seen as, okay, you need to keep these people away from each other, or supervise these people. So basically they kept us away from each other unless we were supervised. So what I did was I, did what I had to, listen to them, did what they wanted. And, I went to go drink at the fountain, and I'm just, drinking from the fountain, and all of a sudden he comes up behind me. Now, I don't know what was going through my mind at that time, but I just reached behind me, grabbed him by the package, like that. And he's just like, and I'm just like, it was just a really funny experience. Now, going on from that, it was kind of like a years of self-discovery. Now, when I graduated, my mom sent me away, and then brought me back to the house, and then kind of took away privileges I had. Like, I couldn't be out until this, till late, and couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, I couldn't do this, and I couldn't do that. It was depressing. Very, very depressing. And it got to the point where, when I came back from boarding school, I got sent to Naperville, Illinois, to an apartment full of crackheads and drug addicts. Now, that is a hard thing for me, trying to discover myself, to deal with. And on top of that, when I was at school, my last week there, they decided to have me come out, as in them telling her I was gay. which wasn't what I identified with. It wasn't even who I was. It was like you knew my medical history. You knew that there was more than that. Just gender identity. It was more than that because there's extra equipment there that isn't just male. Now, growing up, it was difficult. Now, adding that on top of it, it just kind of made it impossible for me to live with my mother. Impossible. She sent me away. I lived with these crackheads. I dealt. I woke up to me and my boyfriend from boarding school at the time, waking up to machine guns and sniper rifles to our fucking faces because some chick next door decided to say that her husband or boyfriend was threatening her when he was locked in his room asleep. Like, come on. It was just stupid and it was pointless and it was just stuff I didn't have to deal with, especially at 17. Now, on top of that, I was going to an LGBT group that was in a Naperville church. And at that time, it was a wonderful thing. It was helping me discover who I was. It was helping me understand stuff. And it wasn't until a drag show night, I think it was a night, where they decided to have us all do drag. And when I didn't have money at the time, so one of my friends, we all drove up to Boys Town and they bought me my first wig. Now, this wig was brunette. It was gorgeous. And at that time, I had no facial hair. I didn't have to shave or anything. So it was basically, all I had to do was put on foundation, a little bit of blush, some eyeshadow, and some, I guess, eyeliner, and just dance. Put a little lipstick on and dance. And at that time, I was really good at it. It was just for fun. It wasn't like a contest or anything. It was just us having a good time. Now, after that SWAT team night, my mom made me move back home with her. And she sent me, went over to my apartment at the time, or before my grandma got there. And she threw away all my LGBT stuff. My wig, my makeup, everything, threw it away. Instead of putting it inside of a bin I had, she threw it away. Now, she threw away gay magazines I had, Playgirl. She threw away everything I owned that didn't seem, quote unquote, in her comfort zone. Now, fast forwarding to, let's see where I can start. College. Okay. No, before college, I'll go there. Basically, I was living at home. I was depressed. My mom barely ever fed me. So when I did get food, I overate. I got to a point where I was stealing candy just to eat because trying to steal food was a little too risky. And so I started gaining weight. I started getting bigger and fatter. And it was a very stressful thing for me and hard to deal with. And it was just difficult to deal with her and all that. And it makes it harder for me to kind of deal with her now, even though I'm trying to be the bigger person. I've always tried to be the bigger person in that. It's just really difficult to deal with. Now, at that point, I barely wanted to be at home when they were there. So if it was a weekend, I would spend the entire day at the library, like Friday through Sunday. Which Sunday, it was only open through 1 to 5 o'clock, which sucked. And especially in the winter, because I'd be walking through snow, and no matter if it was blizzarding or really bad, I would be walking to the library. And then finding out it was closed, just to walk back, sometimes I didn't care how cold it was, I'd sit outside at a park since the schools were closed or something, because I didn't want to be there. And it was just a difficult thing to deal with. Now, going on top of that, it was like one of those days I decided to go over there. I ran into, and this is when I was 20-year-old, I ran into a woman named Delavia. And, she says, "Oh, I've seen you before. I've seen you walking around. I wanted to say hi." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was really shy back then. I didn't know who I was. So I was like having someone literally acknowledge me and then ask me my name, and I could pick a name I prefer than the one my mom gave me, which is Robert, which is, look at me. Does that look like a name that fits this person? Now, going with that, I went with, at the time it was Robbie, and then later it went to Jaden, and now it's Jasmine. So it just kind of slowly evolved to something I was okay with. But I introduced myself. I told her, hello, my name is Robbie, blah, blah, blah. And we talked. We had a conversation. It was great. Now we walked on, we kept going, doing what we were doing, and I was on my way out, so she went to do what she was doing. Now, fast forwarding to a couple months later when it was March in 2010, I got a job at Jewel Osco in Lisle, Illinois, which was a good job. At the time, it was accepting most of the time. There's people that, the women were more my friends. I didn't really talk to the males. I tolerated them because a lot of times I had got crushes on them, and at that time I didn't know how to deal with those developments. So if I did kind of communicate with them, it came off in the wrong way, then I would try to interact with them. So I just kind of kept to myself. Or, they would think I'm quote unquote hitting on them. Like there's one guy that made sexual innuendos about women that came in. Like, oh, she's so tall, I'll climb her like a tree. I was like, boy, what's with the big meat you're slapping down? You don't look like you're ready for it. Anyway, so I always came up with pick quotes for him or whatever. Which that was not what I said. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, so at that time I started working with a girl named Tilly. I do not know her real name, so we're just going to go with their nicknames. Tilly. And, after that first, day, she took me over she said, I'm going to a friend's, you want to come hang out? And I said, sure. She took me over to, ironically, Delavia's house, which for now on, we're just going to call her Tutta. We went over to Tutta's house, and I got to meet her family and everybody. And we actually became really close because after work, I would always go over there and hang out with them, with Tilly. Now, and Tilly's her nickname, and the other girl's nickname that I work with. Okay, so now we're on the same page. So we were over there, we hung out a lot, and I ended up at some point living with them because my mom threw me out again. And during that time, I was living there, enjoying myself, having a good time. My mom decided to come over during my lowest time and tell me I should go jump off a bridge. And at that point, I was already in my lowest point, and I had my mother tell me she wanted me to die. My godmother heard this and was literally infuriated and can't stand my mom to this day now. I literally ran to nearest bridge. They literally had tried to talk me down, and I was about to jump into traffic. Technically, I was going to fall. I was going to turn backwards and fall, but that's what I was going to do. And that was literally the lowest point in my life. And, second lowest, because my lowest I will tell you in a minute. Basically, the guy who dumped me prior to my mom coming over and saying that had to catch me and push me down, and literally just wake me out of what funk I was in at that moment. Even though he hurt me, what my mom said was what broke me. So it was like he had to shake me out of there. And at some point, you just need something to shake you and just wake you up. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Let me live. I don't have to live with her. I don't have to see her. So I started living my life, becoming who I was. I started losing weight. I started getting skinnier, and it was nice. And it was nice to be recognized as who I wanted to be. Now my godmother, she decided to, once I got skinnier, she was like, honey, you are skinny. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm fat. No, I'm not. And she was like, honey, it's time for you to get some skinny jeans. She bought me them, and my ego boost went skyrocketing. I never felt so good in my life. Just like that. I was happy. I was filled. It was everything I needed was in that moment. And then she started teaching me how to do makeup and make my face look feminine and go to work looking gorgeous and sexy and just look good for me. Not like going there looking like a slut, but going there looking like myself more and more every day. Now, doing that and moving on, life just started to roll. Now, eventually I had to go back to my mom's, and that's when life started to go back down. Now, I hit 21 before I went back to my mom's, and I was my mother's house, and it was just then that our fighting started again, right after I was about to go to college soon. I was going to move out, go to college. And that was away from home, which was wonderful. It was in Chicago, Illinois, where I live now. But it was in downtown Chicago. Now, downtown Chicago is the busiest part, which is like living in, I guess, West Hollywood? I guess that would be the thing to say. Now, I lived on State Street. So my school was literally right next door. So, but the thing was, before that, my mom decided to have this big fight with me. Just about me being who I was, about me wearing the makeup, wigs, blah, 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 doing what I was doing. She hounded me at it, ate at me, basically over time grinded me down. So literally 2 weeks before I had to go to school, I committed suicide. That was the lowest point in my life. I took a whole jar of sleeping pills and swallowed them. Because I said, my mother doesn't love me. I have no one else that loves me. And so I downed that bottle. I literally woke up from a coma in a hospital. And my grandma was crying because she said I was presumably dead. They were waiting for me to die. Now, ever since that day, I just kind of let life go. I stopped taking the haters' comments, and I just started living my life. And I just started ignoring what my mom had to say. I went to college. I had a great time. I started doing my makeup. Trust me, it wasn't the best, but wasn't as bad as 2014, which, honey, just look at my Instagram. You can see it. It was bad. Now, as that went on, school went great. I discovered my, sexuality. I was transgender. I could flip my hair. I could wear skirts and and heels and walk in there and work at the gym and just look good and dance and everything. It just felt so good to just be myself for once. So, fast forwarding back to 2014. I'm back at my mother's. After being homeless for 10 years, going to college still technically made me homeless because I had no home other than school. Found out my mom wasn't paying my bills, so I ended up having to go back home when I was 22. Leaving my friends and everything behind, though I could always communicate on Facebook, but it feels so lonely when you can't communicate them face to face. Now, moving past that and going into 2014, I was excluded. I slept on the couch, didn't have a bed. My mom stopped feeding me, so I had basically started working out and eating little things I could find that was in there, until the point where she started hiding everything in the cabinets in the room. So I had to run in there and sneak a snack or two when they were gone. And then I only could grab 2 because I didn't want them to notice. And I worked out and tried to keep myself in shape and try to just somehow feel good about myself. And it was literally I believe it was 2013, the end, right where it was about to be 2014, when I got a message. It was, my grandma got me this tablet. And I got a message from my current boyfriend, Nicholas. And he was the only one that didn't message me about sex or show me your nudes or show me your pics or blah, blah, blah. He just honestly asked me, I don't want to be rude, but can you explain who you are? Because I see you have very handsome boy pictures and very gorgeous female pictures. So I'm just a little confused. Can you explain it? And it was something different for me being on LGBT app, which was Hornet at the time. Trust me, this ain't sponsored. And it was amazing to have someone ask me an honest question. Now, I answered and I said, I'm transgender. The boy pictures is what I look like without my makeup on, and girl pictures is what I look like when I'm me. Now, after that, we met and it was like love at first sight. All right, if you want to hear the rest of the story, hit subscribe and hit that bell if you want to hear when I get a next video. All right, bye.